The B-2 Spirit stealth bombers, they took off from Whitman Air Force Base. They flew west. Whitman is located in Missouri. They refueled off California, and they refueled at Hawaii as well. And then they perhaps went non-stop struck their targets before refueling. Now they refuel in the air as well. There are multiple bases. There is one major B-2 base which could be used, which is Diego Garcia, further south in the Indian Ocean, or they could just have flown all the way back using multiple refueling, but in the air. What we can say is that the strikes took place at 2:30 a.m. in the morning. The US president says that they're incredibly successful, but the point which I think, Shiv, that you were alluding to was the weapon which was used. It's called the GBU-57.
And we've got an animation of that also, which we'll put up on our screen.
Ordnance penetrator, 30,000 pounds. It is designed to penetrate to a certain depth. It is designed to take out exactly this site. I would go to the extent of saying that when the US, in their design specifications, were building this weapon, they were thinking about how deep they need to go into Iran to actually take out potentially nuclear targets, nuclear facilities, and that's what certainly has been used. Shiv, it's not one weapon which was used. I would suggest that they used many of them. What I would like to see is how many GBU-57s a single Spirit, B-2 can carry. I would suggest perhaps not more than one. But that's something we need to look at.
20 feet long, each one of them.
They're huge, right? So, and 30,000 pounds. Just for the benefit of our viewers, Shiv, when we go into attack missions, ground strike missions, if there is a 1,000-pound bomb slung under the wings of a fighter aircraft and you have two of them, then a fighter aircraft is fairly heavily loaded out.
Becomes a
much smaller aircraft. Obviously. This is a bomber, significantly larger, with one 30,000 pound bomb, right? So 15 times the ordnance of what a typical loadout, let's say, on a fighter aircraft or an attack platform would be in one weapon.
Incredible. I mean, the 40,000 pounds is what the B-2 is. And there you have it. You've got the animation on your screen right now of precisely what Vishnu was talking about. That is what the stealth bomber actually looks like from this side. It has a very different aspect from this side. That's the bomb you were talking about, Vishnu. 20 feet long. Doesn't look very big in that picture, but that's precisely what was likely used.
Yeah, and I think just one of them. So if that is the case, Shiv, then you're looking at several B-2s having gone in. There were 3 sites which were struck, and it remains to be seen whether they used more than one at the primary site of Fordow, which they were looking to target. Now, it doesn't explode on impact. It explodes by penetrating, and that animation which we have gives you an idea of what it's supposed to do. It's got
70
composite metal. It's got a metal alloy, right? Which goes to a certain depth, approximately 200 feet or so, perhaps thereabouts. It is meant to survive, that penetration through thick cement up to a particular depth, and then it explodes. And with that amount of ordnance, it takes out anything there is.
And in that final image, you can actually see the relative size of that weapon compared to a human. That's exactly how big and tall that weapon is.
People talk about
that gives you a sense of it.
The explosive capability or the explosive potential of a nuclear weapon. Now, it's a conventional weapon. We aren't getting ahead of ourselves. But by way of the explosive potential of this particular weapon, you are looking at something. In terms of the blast radius, it compares to a small nuclear strike weapon.
And Vishnu, listening to what President Trump said a little earlier, he said very specifically, he didn't name the B-2, he didn't name the GBU-57, obviously. No specific words coming out right now. Those might actually come out a little later. But he did very specifically say the aircraft are out of the airspace and they're safely headed home.
You can safely assume that the Iranians didn't know they were there in the first place until
that pretty much confirms the B-2, if I'm not mistaken.
It would be the B-2 because the B-52, which I believe could also be configured to carry this much older bomber, extremely potent, extremely advanced even now because it's been upgraded repeatedly, but very much visible on radar. This is designed for this sort of mission. It is to fly deep behind enemy lines, undetected, to drop ordnance like this. Now, this is a nuclear-capable weapon system. It dropped a conventional weapon. It can carry nuclear weapons. In fact, that is its primary role.